Hey class, today we're going to do an experiment on osmosis, specifically in osmosis in different concentration of solvents. So a few things that I want to talk about before we get started with this experiment is you need to know three different definitions. The first definition is going to be osmosis, and this is the movement of water molecules from a solution of low concentration to a solution of high concentration through a semipermeable membrane. The second definition you need to know is what is a hypotonic solution. A hypotonic solution is a solution that when compared to another solution, it has a lower concentration of solutes than the third definition, a hypertonic solution, which is going to have the higher concentration of solutes. So these are three very important definitions that you need to know for this experiment. Instead of creating a PowerPoint or something, I decided just to recreate the experiment here in the kitchen where I did it, just to show you that I did the experiment and how I learned rather than just showing you a PowerPoint. So here I have my gummy bears that have been sitting for the past 8 hours, and I'm just going to set those to the side. We're going to pull them back again. I'm just going to show you what I did. So per the instructions, you just take 2 cups of water, fill up those 2 cups of water, and in one of the cups of water, you're supposed to saturate it with salt. So that is put in as much salt as possible that can dissolve in the water. And obviously, since we're not in a lab, there is a margin of error. And so whether or not the water was completely saturated to the thousandth or the hundredth of thousandth, we don't know. But for the most part, I saturated the best I could. After you had the salt water and the regular water, we were just supposed to put a gummy bear in one and the gummy bear in the other and set them to the side. So I did that. And now I'm just going to set these to the side. They have to sit for another 6 to 10 hours, but I'm going to pull up mine now. So this is the gummy bear that has been sitting in the tap water. And this is the gummy bear that's been sitting in the salt water. So I want to show you a difference in something. Gummy bear in the tap water. Look at the color of the water. And gummy bear in the salt water. Look and notice how different that color of the water is. It's way more red than the color in the tap water. So I couldn't get the gummy bears out on camera to show you a good picture of them without them falling off my hand or my paper. So I took a picture of the 2 different gummy bears, and I just kind of want to show you. So here's the picture of my 2 different gummy bears. Here we have the saltwater gummy bear, and here we have the tap water gummy bear. And as you can see, the saltwater gummy bear is significantly smaller than the tap water gummy bear. I think, for the sake of the experiment, they were hoping that it would be a little bit more drastic, but I did notice that, and the screen went dark. I did notice that the tap water gummy bear was much more inflated, and especially when I pulled it out of the cup, a lot of the outside part that had really puffed up kind of fell off the gummy bear. So once I got it onto the note card to take a picture, it was no longer as big anymore. But I kind of want to explain what happened here in this experiment. And I wrote down some notes just to go over it. So sugar in the gummy bear is acting as the solute for the solution. It's what is dissolving into the solvent of the water. And the gelatin holds a semi-solid solution inside the gummy bear. The gummy bear acts as a semi-permeable membrane for the solution inside. So we used gummy bears to act as cells in this experiment. When the gummy bear was placed in the tap water, the gummy bear has a higher solution of dissolved solvent, sugar, or solute, and thus the water flows into the gummy bear through osmosis. So because there was a higher concentration of the solute in the gummy bear than the solvent, the water moved into the gummy bear and it swelled up. And especially when I went back to look, the gummy bear earlier was really big and really swollen. When the gummy bear was placed in the saturated salt solution, though, it was placed in a hypertonic solution. Thus, the water in the gummy bear flowed through the semipermeable membrane, the outside of the gummy bear, and into the saturated salt solution because there was more solute on the outside and the water was trying to escape to reach an equilibrium. And so through this experiment, that's kind of what we saw. And that's one of the reasons why the water was a little bit more red in the cup with the gummy bear with the salt, because as the water moved out of the gummy bear, it's also going to take its dye with it. Because as we know, gummy bears aren't healthy, they have a bunch of red dye in them. And so it was going to take its dye. And it did. And that's why we saw that different color in the water as opposed to the tap water. So in this experiment, we kind of got to see the difference in diffusion in a hypotonic solution than in a hypertonic solution. And it was really good just to get that visual representation of what it is to see osmosis in person in real everyday life. Thanks for watching.